Hi everybody, this is Dr. Fang-Mei from Tiffin University. Welcome to the lecture of Introduction to Counseling. Well, when I'm making this program, mainly is for Tiffin students who are taking the Intro to Counseling class with me. But even you are not my student, I welcome you and thank you and welcome to join our lecture of Introduction to Counseling. Okay, so today in this lecture, we are cover Gestalt therapy. Gestalt therapy. Okay, so Gestalt spelled as G-E-S-T-A-L-T. G-E-S-T-A-L-T. That's German words. Okay, do you know what that means? Gestalt. That means as a whole. So for this theory, they emphasize our whole is greater than sum of the part. Our whole is greater than sum of the parts. So think about if you want to know me, okay, you can see my face, you can see my nose, my eye, my mouth, my hair, my hand, right? And then you see my name, and then you know I'm from Tiffin University. So given all this background together, do you think you know me already? Well, maybe not, right? Because we all have so many different parts of us, and some actually when you put together just like 2H, right? 2H and 1O. 2H plus 1O equal H2O, and that's water. And water very different from H and also very different O, right? So same thing. So that's why the Gestalt therapy emphasize if you are going to helping people or when you get to know each other, you want to respect them. You want to see them as a whole, because a whole is what? Greater than sum of the parts. That makes sense? Okay, so when we do when we introduce each theory, my way of introduce, I always like to start with the founder. Okay, so who is the founder of this theory, right? So that actually, this also come from the book I wrote called Counseling Theory and Practice, Learning Theory Through Life Stories. Okay, so what I say is I believe all the theory is come from founders, their life. They go through their life. So actually when you see their theory, actually you may feel very similar to their life. Okay, so that's why I want to spend today's section is to introduce a founder first, and then we will talk about their theory another time. Okay, so this will be part 1 for the Gestalt therapy. Okay, so then who is the founder? The founder is the Perls, Fritz Perls. Okay, so I have that in my PowerPoint, so I'm going to bring you to see the screen. Okay, so this is the founder. Okay, so that's Fritz Perls, and he was born in 1893 to 1970. Okay, and let's go Gestalt therapy. Okay, to give you a better idea about what the term mean. Okay, I have the timeline here. Since a lot of you knowing the Freud and Adler, okay, so then I think they'll give you a better idea. So you can see here, Freud was born on 1856, okay. Then 14 years later, Adler was born in 1870. Okay, then for many of you maybe know Carl Jung. Carl Jung also joined Freud, for quite a few years there. He was born in 1875. Okay, and then you can see Freud graduated from medical school in 1881. And then Freud received a grant. Remember, he went to Paris to learn how to do the hypnosis, right? So that's Freud. And now here, so then you can see after 8 years, right? Fritz Perls was born in a Jewish family in Berlin, Germany. Okay, and then 1895, after two years after he was born, then Eller graduated from medical school. So you can see he's much younger than the people we learned before, right? So this time frame I think should be very helpful to help you understand who about the time, the history of these people. Okay, that sounds good. Okay, so let's go back here. So knowing the time he was born, then let's talk about it, and then if necessary, I'll bring you back to the PowerPoint. Okay. Okay, so let's talk about him. Okay, now he was born in Germany. He was born in Germany from a Jewish family. Okay, from a Jewish family. Now, his father is very not the typical Jewish. Even they practice the many in holidays, and actually Pearls also went to Hebrew school, but actually the father really want the family to mingle, to integrate with German community. Okay, so he moved them to, they live in Berlin. Okay, so he moved them to close to the German community. Okay, so by doing that, you can see advantage and disadvantage. The advantage is they can be, integrate with the society, but disadvantage is they become neither. So Jewish community not really happy for them to do that, and then German community say, well, you are not part of us. Okay, but anyway, grow up in this kind of environment actually give Gestalt, Pearls, a very have a open-minded. So actually, when he start to create this theory, when we start to learn theory, you can see he just grab whatever he can get hands on, and then he learned that, and then he developed his idea. Okay, so I think that's influenced his mindset. Okay, so now for Pearl. Okay, so he actually is a youngest child. Okay, then he in school is pretty good up to elementary school, but when he is in middle school, because his teacher is anti-Semitic, so that means anti-Jewish. So Pearl actually is very uncomfortable with this situation, so he refused to study, and then so his grade is going down the hill. Okay, now because of this, so he dropped out of school. Okay, he dropped out of school, but it's not mean he gave up. He transferred himself with his friend. They are together. They transferred to a free and open school. So the school is mean they all liberal. They're more liberal. Okay, and they also the school also very emphasize about drama. Okay, and actually that is very good because that's what Pearl really like it. Okay, so because that Amsfield from school, so he has opportunity to participate in a performance on the theater. Okay, even he didn't get any line for the performance, but he loved it. He loved it. Okay, and also when he doing this training, from the theater, he meet a director. His name is Max Reinhardt. Okay, he encourage and challenge Pearl to learn to observe nonverbal, to observe how people express their emotion through voice and then through the body. Okay, and actually this when we are later learn the Gestalt therapy, you will know for Gestalt therapy, nonverbal is very important. They are emphasize, we express our message through nonverbal more than verbal. So actually that's from the this training. Okay, he got the idea from this. And also because his drama training, and I think he start to find himself, so he start to build up the self-confidence. So actually, he's not only his school performance is getting better and better, his relationship with his family also getting better and better, because actually before, he's youngest child and he have a hard time to get along with his other family. People say he was spoiled. Okay, so then he mature, and then his school work and his academic get to the top. So then when he finished high school, he entered the University of Berlin School of Medicine. Okay, so I think that is very sure his commitment, after he found himself, right? So he get into the school. However, that is a time for World War I, right? So when they have a war, Pearls, a medical student at that time, was recruited to serve as a soldier. Well, when he served as a soldier, actually his main task is to gas attack. So that's very stressful. So actually, he began to smoke, okay, and they start to a habit with him for life. So if you type Fritz Perls into the Google, and then or you see sometimes actually you can also see his demonstration when do the counseling. You notice he always smoke. He have cigarette with him all the time. Okay, and then so now it's he got that when he served in the army. But I'm not saying that is a good excuse. Yeah, I'm just telling you that's happened. Okay, then after the war, he returned to school and then graduated in 1918. Okay, now after that, and then he qualified, passed the examination, qualified as an MD on April 3rd, 1920. Okay, so after he qualified to be a doctor, then he practiced medicine in Berlin, specialized neuropsychiatry. Okay, and it's also very interesting because remember he liked theater, and he also liked dancing, he also liked singing, he also liked painting. He has so many talent and so many interesting. So when he practiced as a medical doctor, the same time he also learned how to express his thought through dance and physical movement from the German dancer. Okay, Paluca, Palucca, that's his dancing teacher's name. Okay, now, so you can see, so in addition to this, he also consider himself. So if you ask who are you, Perls, you will say I'm the medical doctor, and I'm also an artist. I'm also a poet. I'm also architect. I'm also a writer, and I'm also an actor. Wow. So you can see here so many sides of him. That's why when he developed Gestalt therapy, he pretty much used all this into his treatment. And that's why, right? Because that's all he believed, we can express ourselves from all different sides. Okay. Now, so in 1923, okay, he went to the brain neurology department of New York. So in 1923, he kind of said, oh, maybe I should go to America to see if I can work there or survive there. So in 1923, okay, 1923, okay, so he went to New York, okay, to take the American doctor's license exam, okay. Unfortunately, he got very homesick. So he only spent 6 months in New York, and he back to Berlin. But during this time, because all this make him lose the identity, lose the self-confidence, so when he back to Berlin, the first thing he did is he tried to find a psychologist, okay, to help him out. I think he tried to find himself, okay. So then he found a psychoanalyst, okay, because that time Freud, remember, you see the timeline, Freud and Adler, they are very popular in that time. And maybe that's the only treatment maybe available during that time. So he found one psychoanalyst called Karen Honey, okay, to give him the counseling, okay, to have him find himself back, okay. So then he meet with him, okay, they work on his issue until 1926, okay, 1926, he decided to move to a place. It's very a little bit closer, on, from the place called Frankfurt. Okay, let me spell for you, just in case if my pronunciation not good, you not catch it. Frankfurt. 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 Okay, in 1926. Okay, got it? 1926, he moved to there. Okay, and very interesting for this place. Okay, let me show you a picture here. Okay, so this Frankfurt, okay, from 1926 to 1927, and that's a picture I found from internet. Okay, that is the street or the building looks like. Okay, and actually something happened there. He found his wife Laura. Okay, so that's both of them. Okay, so let me go back. Okay, so it's very interesting for that city. A lot of Gestalt psychologists. Okay, do you know Gestalt psychologists? Again, first, Gestalt psychologists very different from Gestalt counselors. Okay, very different from counseling. Okay, Pearl just you apply that to his theory, but he learned that because when he moved to Frankfurt, okay, a lot of Gestalt psychologists live there. Okay, so they have a lot of workshop training about Gestalt. Okay, so when he have time, after his work, he always go there to get training. Okay, and also a lot of existentialism also live in Frankfurt. Okay, And then this girl, okay, his wife later, is very good at extensionism. Okay, that's her expertise. So then when they are dating, of course, then Gestalt and Pearl learn from her. So then they are married in 1929, August 23rd, they married. And then in 1931, 1931, they gave the birth for their first child, Renee. Okay, now, so through Laura, okay, so when after marriage, she changed the name to Laura Perls. Okay, through her, okay, Perls to start to interact with extensionism, okay, and then so he start to think about if I'm how do I use this Gestalt psychologist idea, extensionism, to helping people, and something he learned from them. Remember the one we just talked about, Viktor Frankl. We identify him as extensionism. Okay, exists extensionism. Remember, he talked about the freedom of choice, right? And he talked about responsibility, right? He talked about the meaning. Gestalt and Pearls get all this from the extension training, okay? So you can see in the future, in his theory, actually combine all this. Okay, then during this time, Pearl still continue his counseling with psychoanalyst. Okay, so he complete actually in 1927 for his as a client. Okay, and so they suggest, because he kind of show interesting, he want to learn this more. So they say, well, you can see the patient. So then to see the patient, we give you the supervision, and then you can learn how to work as a psychoanalyst. Okay, so actually that's what he do. So he returned to Berlin. He went to Vienna. Okay, Vienna. Okay, the psychoanalysis training center. Okay, to get training until 1928, he back to Berlin and he set up a clinic called psychoanalytic clinic. Psychoanalytic clinic. So you can see he started to get in the psychoanalysis area, right? You can see that, right? Okay, and so through all this training, as a client, as a client, and then he get a training. So actually he got influenced by Freud. Okay, so the part he influenced by Freud is he talk about dream. Okay, he also believed dreams. Okay, and he also believed childhood experience will affect adult behavior. So for this part, he did influence by Freud. Even later, he used different way to work with a dream, but the idea, and he also think about different way about childhood experience, but the idea is from Freud. Oh, does it make sense? Okay. Then, remember, when people, they are Jewish, they always have some issue happen to them from Hitler, right? Okay, in 1933, Hitler took power in Germany. Okay, so then Pearl and Laura, actually, they are very active person. Okay, they are actively against Hitler. Okay, so they involve a lot of activities. But they start to hear for people they are anti-Hitler, many people disappear when they sleep. Okay, well, this brought their concern, so they start to worry about their life, their safety. Okay, so then on March 25, okay, March 25 in 1933, okay, that the Perls escaped first. So Perls take the high 100 marks inside the match box, okay, and cross the border, escape to Holland, okay. And Laura took her child back to her mother's hometown and hide there first, okay. Then later they went join Perls, okay. So that is 1933, okay. So he escaped. He went to Holland, okay. Well, you know, the life is hard because he escaped there. He's not citizen there, right? And so he hardly able to find a job. And also he only bring 100 marks, okay. So financial is an issue. So even Laura and the kids join him, but they live in very poor condition, poor house, you know, the house in poor condition, no job, and just very hard. Okay, so then they know this is not a place they can stay long. Okay, so then they checking around, and this time the people helping Freud write autobiography. So it's called Freud's autobiographer, writer, Ernest Jones. Ernest Jones, okay, E-R-N-E-S-T, and the first name is J-O-N-E-S, okay, Ernest Jones, okay, told them, hey, they have opportunity in South Africa. Do you want to go? Because they need psychoanalytic trainers there, okay. Well, that's good opportunity, but it's in South Africa. If you are going, yes, I heard a lot of you say yes, yes, yes. They decide to go. They decide to go. Okay, so in 1934, they arriving in South Africa in 1934, Johannesburg. Okay, Johannesburg. Okay. They start to open a training center. Okay, they start to see the patients. So actually their life is totally different. They start have an income, they start have a comfortable life, because I believe the living there must be easier and cheaper in that time, right? So their lives have been improved greatly, and Laura now have the second child. Okay, so they live in South Africa now, and because it's so success, so Pearl kind of say, now I really need to show Freud how much I can do in this area. He want to be part of psychoanalysis group. Okay, so in 1936, they have a international psychoanalytic seminar in Europe. Okay, so Perls prepared a paper, and he went back there to present a paper, and his goal is to buy Freud's heart. He wants Freud to recognize him. Okay, however, that's Freud. Okay, Freud ignored him and also ignore the paper he present. Okay, and also as a whole psychoanalytic association as a whole, not really accept him. Okay, and even worse, after that, Psychoanalytic Society announced, say, if you never practice in Europe, then you cannot practice in other country. Okay, remember he went to the Vietnam Training Center, but I don't think they consider he practiced, okay? Because not too long after that, he escaped to Holland, right? So then they disapprove his application to be part of the member, and then he knew he cannot practice because this rule, if you never practice in Europe, you cannot practice in other country. So then Pearl withdraw his position. He cannot be the director of training center anymore. So if you were him, what can you do? You get all the training and you believe you can wear the head, right? Part of the association. Well, remember Pearl, he has so many interests in. So if this one don't want me, I can go another way, right? And but also, you know, if something he already learned it, that's his, right? So he still, later his theory still, you can still see the dream, you can still see the childhood experience. So after he withdrew his position, he still live in South Africa, where he can go. The life is comfortable. So he started to get learning other things, okay? And so in this time, he was attracted to the idea of South Africa prime minister and philosophy that John Smoot, okay, JANSMUTS, okay. He started interested about his idea, and his idea actually emphasized that, you know, everything should be integrated together, and also whatever we see the things, also something you have to see how they relate to your environment. Okay, so actually this is also the big part for the Gestalt theory. Okay, so for example, if you see the snow coming in the nighttime, the snow looks different from if the snow in the daytime. Even they are same snow, but they're different. So that means whatever your environment will affect however you see the things. Okay, so that means if you want to understand your people, your client or people you are helping, you need to know their background. You need to know background. And do you feel a little bit similar to Eller, right? Eller also talk about we have the social interest, right? And he also did the same way, but this actually influenced by a prime minister from South Africa, okay? Jane Smoot, okay. So now, that is he started to learn that, and then this time is World War II. And Pearl is interesting. Whenever they have war, he will go to. Okay, so remember when he is a medical student, he joined World War I, right? Now he is in South Africa, and then he joined World War II. Okay, and actually he joined the South Africa Army as a volunteer psychiatrist, for South Africa, okay, from 1942 to 1945, okay? And then during this time, he started to observe, you know, what happened politically, environment, and he started to feel like the political environment in South Africa have changed after World War II. Okay, so he started to say, again, he like to move, right? He kind of said, oh, maybe they should go somewhere. Okay, so then the psychiatrist, psychoanalyst he saw before, okay, Honey, okay, in America, okay, so he agreed to sponsor him to come to United States, okay. So Remember, he came to America, New York one time, remember, for 6 months, and he got homesick and he went home, right? So this time is 1946, okay? Again, he came first, okay? He came first, and Laura and 2 kids still in South Africa, okay? So he came to the United States in 1946. And Honey, okay, start to introduce him to his friend, okay? They actually a lot of famous psychologists, okay, in New York, okay, to help him out, okay? And actually he started to get homesick again, but they try to help him. And so actually during that time, he started to get to know those people, their theory, their idea about how to helping people, and actually they influenced him a lot, actually, when he developed his theory. Okay, so in 1947, okay, so Laura and his children now reunited with him in New York in 1947. Okay, so after they reunited, they say, well, then we should start to do something. Okay, so they start to leading a training group, okay, and they also create a center called Gestalt counseling approach. Okay, they start to create this called Gestalt counseling approach with Paul Goodman. Okay, so so then they start to get idea what can they do, you know, with the new idea how to helping people. So then you can see this Gestalt idea in 1947 they start to come out, okay. And in 1948, okay, Perls present a paper called Theory and Technique of Personality Integration, okay. Theory and Technique of Personality Integration to the Association for the Advancement of Psychotherapy, okay. And he also published this article in the Journal of Psychotherapy. And so because this paper, so people start to get to know him, and then actually they say this is the best work of his early years. So looks like, you know, people start to recognize him, right? Okay. Then, you know, his mind is keep thinking, because he try to get idea about what else I can put into my Gestalt idea. So this time, actually, the people under his training have a student, okay, called Dr. Paul Weiss, okay, Dr. Paul Weiss, first name Paul, you know, P-A-U-L, and with W-E-I-S-G, okay, W-E-I-S-G, okay. Actually, he is very familiar with Zen, G-E-N, you know, Zen is from the Eastern religion. Okay, they talk about mindfulness, right? Remember this? You know this? Okay, so they introduce this Zen to Perls, okay? Tell him how important to have to focus mindfulness, you know, for this. So Perls is very interesting. So actually, soon after that, he went to Kyoto, Japan, to learn Zen, you know, with other master, okay, and to learn what's the real concept about this meditation, because Zen and mindfulness, they talk about meditation, right? So you can see somehow Perls is actually, he is very good in learning, and he is interested to learning. So now he not only have the center, he also continue to learn more. So this one he learned from Eastern religion. And then in 1950, okay, so you see that one after he learned Zen, he went. Then in 1950, he also get a chance to contact with psychodrama founder called Jacob Moreno. Okay, J-A-C-O-B, Moreno is M-O-R-E-N-O, M-O-R-E-N-O, okay. That is a very, also very famous treatment technique during that time called psychodrama. Okay, so that means they have people role play, and then from the role play, then you can express your emotion and you can get to know how other people thinking when you do the role play. Okay, so actually that's also very big for this Gestalt get therapy. Okay, so he learned from Mei Law. Okay, psychodrama. Okay, and from there he start to learn you can do active approach. So that means when you do the treatment, you don't have just sit and then talk. Actually, you can like acting out. So we call active approach. He learned from him in 1950. Okay. Then after that, he start to writing the Gestalt therapy book. Okay, and then establish a Gestalt Institute of New York. Gestalt Institute of New York. Okay, and then I want to show you two pictures because actually when I visit New York in 2018, okay, I intentionally looking for the address of Gestalt Institute of New York. So I went there. Okay, so let me show you what happened. Okay, so I look at the internet, okay, and I find this address, 7 West 196 Street, okay. That is the address I found from internet. So when I walk in, I asked, they have a receptionist there, okay, because now it's a big building. I asked, where is the Gestalt Institute? They say, well, he said he didn't know. He didn't know what I'm talking about. I said, well, but in my book, I know this Pearl and his wife, Laura, they established a Gestalt Institute here. Okay, is that true? So then that gentleman go to find another person. He said this person worked here very long. Okay, maybe he knew something. Okay, so then I show actually my book. Okay, I have Gestalt, I have Pearl's picture, and I have this address. So I show him. I said, do you know them? Okay, well, I'm very happy because this gentleman really tell me he know Laura Perls. He know Laura Perls. Okay, when he said they really have institute here, but also interesting. He's told me he never see Perls. He only know Laura. And why? From our this introduction, you will know because Perls is running around so many places but home. Okay. So anyway, so this is my intention. I try to find the place for you so I can show the picture but only see the sign. And then I talked to him and then he told me he know Laura. Okay, so just let you know this is real people, okay, not just fake news. Okay, so back our storytelling. How's everybody? So far so okay? Hopefully you are not tired, okay? Because his story is a little bit long, okay? So hopefully you enjoy. I think it's important to see the reason I want to go through this. I want you to see how a person for the person funding a theory, a treatment, they are not just one day sit there and say, hey, let's come out the theory. No, they actually come from their life, step by step, how they create, right? And also their struggle, right? Okay, so then they established the New York Gestalt Institute of New York, so that the address there. Then they also go to different place, okay? They come to different place to give the training, the place they like to go to provide the training. Do you know the place? Most frequently in where? Do you know that? Cleveland. Most frequently place they provide the training is in Cleveland. Detroit, and Toronto, and Miami. Okay, these 4 places, they are frequent go. Cleveland, Detroit, Toronto, and Miami. So right now, actually Cleveland, they still have the institute, Gestalt Institute, they established by them. And then even in Columbus, the place I live, also have the Gestalt Institute, you know. So then still now, this theory, this treatment is still very popular now. Okay. Okay, so as I just mentioned, they like to come to Cleveland. So 1954, okay, actually Perls, Laura, and Goodman, okay, actually they are co-founded the Cleveland Gestalt Counseling Center. They co-founded the Cleveland Gestalt Counseling Center, okay, of course in Cleveland, Ohio, okay. And actually, so Gestalt came very often to provide the training workshop in this setting. Okay, I have a picture here, show you. Okay, so that is actually the Cleveland Gestalt Institute. Okay, so if you are living in the area, maybe if you are interested, you can go there get training. Okay, so then what happened after that? Okay, so then in 1956, okay, now Perls do all this training, but he had a problem with his heart, so he believed he should go to a warmer place. And remember, he also quite often went to Miami, so he just said, okay, let me move there. Without Laura, he moved by himself. That's why the gentleman said he didn't see Pearl at all, because Pearl just running around so many places. So 1956, he moved to Miami, Florida, okay, for 2 years. And in 1958, do you know where he moved? He moved to Columbus, Ohio. He moved to Columbus, Ohio, okay. He worked as a psychiatrist at Columbus State Hospital. By the way, I don't really know where the hospital right now, but in that time they called Columbus State Hospital, okay. And then, but the end of the year, he moved back to Miami, okay. And at age 67, in that time he's about the age, okay. Actually, he was very poor health in his health condition, and he even went to hospital twice, very emergency situation, but he never stopped writing. He never stopped writing. Okay, now in 1959, okay, I believe his condition, healthy condition, getting better. I think maybe because he lived in, Florida, Miami. So Wilson Van Dunston is from the hospital there in California, invite him to go to be a supervisor for a group of social worker, psychologists, and psychiatrists. So invite him to go there to be to supervise this group. Okay, it's very interesting. Remember, Pearl is learn how to observe people, do that theater training. So when he went there, before he even know them, he asked everybody keep be silent, and he walk around and then look at everybody, and then after that he tell them what he observed about each people based on the nonverbal language he observed. Oh my gosh, everybody's so surprised because he can really see people that accurately just through the nonverbal message. So people love him, and I believe he's very happy. See, I know, I can see people, right? Then so after the training, then he also practiced in San Francisco, okay? And also he do the training to many hospitals during the area. Okay, so then the Gestalt treatment start to spread out because he do the training in several places in California. Okay, now in 1962, okay, he decided to go somewhere again. So do you know where he went this time? He went to Japan. He went to Japan. He traveled around the world. Okay, not only Japan. He traveled around the world to learn. He want to learn Zen. He want to learn more about Zen. So he visited Kyoto, Japan to study Zen, Israel to study painting before he returned to Los Angeles in 1963. So he spent a whole year, you know, in so many different places to learn painting, to learn Zen. Okay. Then after he come back to Los Angeles, okay, he moved to a place called Islam. Okay, Esalen. Esalen. Okay. This time he get more people want to listen to his training. So original his training is very small group, but gradually they give them more and more and more. And do you know he like theater? So actually more people is make him more exciting, right? So he started to conduct a big training on the stage. Okay. Now one of the very famous technique Gestalt therapy they use is called empty chair. Empty chair. And actually they come from this time. Okay, come from this time. So when he trained the those physicians, train those practitioners, you know, they have a big auditorium, and so he will put the empty chair on the stage. Okay, so he will have the people do the demonstration and talk into the chair. Okay, use a chair like as a client and talk into the chair. Okay, and so later on this lecture for next time, we will talk about empty chair, and I want you to remember it's come from this time, around 1964 to 1968. Okay. Okay, and remember we say he never stopped writing. Okay, so in 1968, he wrote his autobiography, the title called In and Out the Garbage Pail. In and Out the Garbage Pail. Okay, and his writing style also very interesting. And so if you have a chance to look at this book, you know, you will see in a lot of the way he wrote is very interesting. Okay, but it's called In and Out the Garbage Pail. In and Out the Garbage Pail. Okay, now in 1969, okay, then John Stevens, okay, recording his training workshop and put together as a book called Gestalt Therapy Verbatim. Okay, Gestalt Therapy Verbatim. Okay, let me show you this book. I have a picture of this. Okay, so this is the book I'm just talking about, and let me see. Let me see the other book. Okay, that's the book, In and Out the Garbage Pail. Okay, and this one called Gestalt Therapy Verbatim. Okay, and actually the book is a lot of very good statement, or we call sentence. It's very good. Like this one, I really like it. Anxiety is a gap between now and later. Anxiety is a gap between now and later. You know, I really like this this way. And let me give you a demonstration, even it's maybe ugly. When I'm in the class, I always say this, you know, when you are, okay, look at what I walk. Hopefully you can see my feet. So I say if you one feet, you know, in the past and 1 feet in the future, then you walk like this. It's so ugly. And Gestalt say, Pearl say this is the reason people so anxious. This is the gap. Okay, so the gap is come from the anxiety is the gap between past and now, or now and future, or you can say the gap between past and future. Okay, so it's important to stay in now when you are doing your in your life. Okay, a lot of time we are worried about the past, right? And then we are worried about the future, but then we never fully live in current time. Do you think that is the reason people are so anxious? Do you think so? Right? So that's a lot of kind of sentence actually. Remember his point, but he like to write point, and he also an actor. He also a painter. So it's not a surprise the way his writing style. Okay, like that way. So it say anxiety is the gap between now and later. Anxiety is the gap between now and later. Okay, and also I also like to say anxiety is the gap between past and the future. Right? Do you think that is true? Right? Okay. Then well, we think his life should be good, right? But then 5 years after he lived there, okay, he started to worry about United States because that time Nixon is the president, okay, and he kind of worried about the administration of Nixon, okay. So then he decided he should move again. So he moved to Vancouver, Canada, okay. The island called Cowichan, Cowichan, Cowichan. They have a lake, Cowichan Lake, right? On Vancouver Island in Canada, okay. And he bought an old hotel and built up a Gestalt community. Okay, so actually he very enjoyed that time of his life because still think about the whole building is people are doing Gestalt group counseling, doing Gestalt therapy, so his idea can be practiced in the center, right? And so he pretty much walk around and join different group conversation, join different group counseling, and I believe he enjoyed, so that he had a good time there. And he also write 2 books during that time, okay, in 1969. He wrote Gestalt Approach and Eyewitness to Therapy. Gestalt Approach and Eyewitness to Therapy. That's one of the book. Another book called Legacy from Fritz, because his first name is Fritz, right? Fritz. So that's another book. Okay, so actually this, he write down his idea even more detailed so people can learn it. Okay, well, life have to get to the end. Okay, so actually he got sick. He got sick. Okay, he got sick, and then so he passed away. What year? We talk about his life is, let me double check. Okay, in 1970, when he went to Canada. Remember, he still write a book in 1969, and he passed away in 1970, right? So life is unpredictable. So I'm glad he his time wisely. So even finish those books before he passed away, right? So it's interesting in his funeral, and if you hear all the story about Perls, okay, I don't know, do you have impression he a very good idea, he like to done a lot of things, but then also think he like to moving around. Then you maybe want to ask, where's Laura during all this time, right? Do you ever ask that question? during all this time, Laura stayed in New York to take care of that Gestalt Institute in New York. Okay, but when Laura heard he's sick, Laura said, I want to go and take care of you. Even he said no, but Laura come anyway. So Laura come and take care of him before he passed away. Okay, so when he passed away, the people in his funeral give a comment about his life. I'm going to show you here so you can see the writing. Okay, here. Okay, so a lot of people come to the funeral, 1,200 to 1,500 people, okay? And you know, because he already very famous there, okay? Now, this the one they say. Fritz, you were very definitely not a good boy. And frankly, it's a big puzzling to know where to send this farewell note. You could be most anywhere. I imagine that typically you are shuttling back and forth between both polarities. You wouldn't want to get stuck in either place. We gather here tonight, appreciate you were with us, that we meet and touch each other, and we say to you, farewell, Fritz, and thank you for being, I think, to being you. Okay, I missed the words. I think thank you for being you. Okay, so that is his life. Okay, do you know why he say he may be in between both sides? Because that's also part of his idea. He believed we all have a two side of ourselves. We all have two sides of ourselves. Okay, so we can have a strong one and we can have weak one. Okay, so now that's why, you know, when we are talk about his theory later, and you will get to know that. Okay, so this Perls, Fritz Perls, it take us 1 hour to talk about his life. Okay, so you have a handout in your PowerPoint. Please read through it, or if you already understand what I say, and hopefully that's helpful. Okay, so I will stop here for now. Okay, so hopefully you find his life is interesting, right? Remember, when we in the class, I can walk around, ask you what do you think. So now I'm going to have you go to the discussion and feedback to give me some of your insight about him. Okay, say please stay healthy and stay safe, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.